Hey, welcome into the Northwest Georgia football 4A preview show. Jamming, man. We're ready this morning, bright and early.
Yes, sir. We're excited to start talking about 4A, and one of the 4A teams, or one of the teams in general in Northwest Georgia, you could say had one of their better seasons, and just had a ton of talent. And we'll talk about them first. We'll start with the Cedartown Bulldogs.
Cedartown Bulldogs, man, 14-1 last year. Like I said, went to the state championship game in a game that was much closer than the score, 14-13.
Man, I'm talking about that was a heck of a game, man. Through periods of rain, shame on you, GHSA. Through periods of rain and rainstorms and everything, and it was a battle back and forth. Uh, you got to give credit to Cedartown for getting there, but man, that was a stop. That was a stop on the goal line. I never would have thought they would have stopped them there at the end.
Like I said, man, it came down to the very last play, very last half a yard. Incredible game to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Like I said, they got they're going to lose 9 first-team All-Region kids this year, including your co-players of the year and Harlem Diamond and Eli Barrow. They're returning 2 first-teamers and 4 second-teamers off of last year's squad.
Yeah, so not exactly losing everybody, but you're losing a lot of production. I'm pretty sure quarterback's gone. You'll have to figure that one out. They did run a lot of different guys. So as far as the backfield goes, you know how Cedartown is. There won't be no such as a backfield reload. I mean, a rebuild. It'll be a reload. They'll have guys out there ready to go. I'm looking for like guys that I researched, like DeMarcus Gardner and Tay Harris, senior tight end Edgar Martinez, those guys to have a big year for Cedartown.
Yeah, I think Tay Harris and DeMarcus Gardner are probably, let's see if I can say this right, 2 of the most on the radar, under the radar guys in the area. I know they're both getting college offers, but they're not names you hear a lot in the Northwest Georgia football circles.
But I think that you will. I think that you're definitely going to start hearing those names, and we're probably not the first ones to speak it, but you're going to hear them.
Yeah, they have a linebacker too, Sam Smith. Man, I remember him from the state championship game last year. Big kid, just a junior this year.
Also, you got Jacoby Diamond, defensive lineman, will be a junior this year. He's poised to have a big year for the Bulldogs. Like I said, if they can figure the quarterback situation out, I'm sure the coach of the year from last year, he's already got his guys prepping for this year, and I'm sure they're getting ready to start spring here soon.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, you can't say enough about the job that Coach Abrams has done down there in Cedartown in 3 years, 3 consecutive region titles. The senior class this year is 33-6. He gets to wear that Coach of the Year crown for at least 7 more months.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right, man. Next up is Central Lions, 8-4 last year, finished second.
And they returned a lot of production off of last year's team. They get Devin Powell back, over 1,700 yards and 17 touchdowns. Jonez Walton, just a sophomore, had over 1,600 yards and 20 touchdowns last year. That's a ton of production coming back. Not to mention, you got on your defensive side, you got players like Ty Brewer, Eric Moore, Nate Horsley. I mean, I like this team. I like this team a lot. I'm not making any picks because we said this is not a pick'em show. This is just strictly information. But you got a lot coming back.
Yeah, they have to replace 7 first-teamers from last year. But they've got 8 guys coming back who are either first team or second team. So, and I guess the big news for the Lions in the offseason was the new head coach, Umbra Brown, came over from Paulding County. Did a great job last year in his one season at Paulding County. They were actually the the most improved team in 2022. So he gets a chance to head down to the Lions and see what he can do with them.
Sweet.
And that's the one thing about 7-4A, man, is last year, I think the order of the playoffs wasn't decided until the last week of the season. You know, you had the Bulldogs, who were your obvious top team, but then everybody else was pretty much just in a basket. You know, you just.
Yeah, and it's not that those were bad teams. It's just that they were beating up on each other. It was kind of like the SEC there. You never know who's going to come out of it.
Your third team last year, man, the Heritage Generals, 8-3 overall, finished third.
Yeah, when you talk about what Heritage had leaving, this is one of those teams that, you know, that lost a lot of production. Is going to be looking for some people to step up to help them get to their 8th consecutive playoff season. What you got on Heritage?
Yeah, you know, they started out last year pretty hot. I mean, I think they were 6-0 to start the season. I think they were actually ranked in the top 10 in the AJC early in the year. Like you said, I mean, they're only losing 4 first-team all-region guys, but I think between first and second team, they're probably losing about 9 guys. And I think their senior class last year was about 16 or 17. You had Defensive Player of the Year, Bryce Trevelyan, gone. Quarterback Swoop. A kid I really liked last year, Cheatwood.
Yep.
Super fast wide receiver. Returning one first-team guy, Max Owens, wide receiver, and 2 second-team all-region guys come back for them.
Yeah, and I think that'd be Rhett McDonald and Evan Wingrove, an offensive lineman and outside linebacker.
Yes, I'm sure if you're a fan of the Generals, man, you're looking forward to this spring and summer, man. So he's going to step back there and be the signal caller. Got a lot of spots open this summer.
Should be a lot of fresh faces. That's just opportunity, the way I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 4 team in 7-4A last year, the Sonoraville Phoenix, 6-5.
Sonoraville Phoenix, you know, they'll return, which will now be a senior quarterback, Jackson Pate. Seems like he's been there forever. Over 1,700 yards passing last year and 16 touchdowns. You know, they will lose the running back from last year and a couple other guys, you know, including Defensive Player of the Year, Tristan Mullins, I see you have down on your screen there. But you got some people back. You got Donovan McDaniel back at DB. You have Keegan Townsend back. Ty Brown's back out there, you know, halfback, fullback. I think Sonoraville's going to have a pretty good team again coming this year.
Yeah, you know, they're the only team, I think, in 7-4A that has their starting quarterback coming back, which always helps. You know, I know last season going into 22, every team had their quarterback coming back. You know, with Pate back there calling the signals, I mean, I think that gives them an advantage over some of the other teams.
Yeah, and he's good on the run. He's absolutely a threat to run the ball or pass it. Excuse me.
And this is one of the stats I was surprised by when we were doing research. Looking for back-to-back playoff years for the first time since 2016.
Huh.
Coach Pate's done a great job up there. Him and his staff. You know, them boys are always in the weight room. I think they'll be right there in the hunt again, 7-4A.
I agree.
Number 5 team last year, 5-5 overall. Northwest Whitfield Bruins.
You know, it is when I look at their roster, they have playmakers left. You know, they have Hudson Gray and Isaiah Foster and a couple young guys like Dominique Johnson. You know, obviously it's another one of those spots where you're going to have to find a quarterback, and you're replacing a pretty good one there at Northwest. Obviously, he was the Offensive Player of the Year, Owen Brooker. So, I mean, they can get that position sealed up. I think they could have another good year, and they could make another playoff run.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I think it's going to be tough for them. You know, losing Brooker. I mean, he's starting quarterback there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like I said, they got a couple of real good wide receivers coming back. Hudson Gray, I think he led the area in yards receiving last year. Isaiah Foster's coming back. They only lose 3 guys, and they got 2 coming back, man. So they're pretty set. Like I said, as long as they can find a quarterback to take over for Brooker, I think they'll be right back in there in the playoff hunt.
I agree. I think they'll be right in the hunt.
6th place team last year, 4-6, Southeast Whitfield Raiders. Losing one guy, one first team all region guy, Jaden Calhoun, big offensive lineman. I think he's now at Point University. Return 0.
Point University had their most wins last year since 2017. I see. Started 4-1 and really was making some noise there early. Hopefully they'll have another season like that again. I don't know a lot about Southeast.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm gonna get a chance to see them May 12th. I'm gonna go out Southeast and watch them play Dade County in the spring game.
Cool.
Like I said, man, they started out last year 4-1, and I think it surprised a lot of people. We'll see what they have for 2023.
Are they headed to Magic Morgan?
They are at home, Southeast Whitfield.
Okay, it's at Southeast. Okay, it's probably about the same distance from you. Either way.
Well, yeah, that concludes the quick 4A show, man. There's not a lot of teams in 4A around we cover, but I'm looking forward to a great season 7-4A. Going to be very competitive again.
Yeah, it seems like a common thread that we're listing off is a lot of people and a lot of production leaving most of these teams, especially at quarterback. Quarterback is normally where you kind of start because he kind of runs the whole offense. So hopefully these teams can work during this spring and summer and get their quarterbacks going and be ready to go by fall. Be ready to make that playoff run.
Yeah, that's the first position I look at, man. We do like a prediction show, and we're trying to decide where everybody's going to finish is that quarterback position.
You got to be able to, I hate this word, but you got to be able to at least manage the game pretty good, as a quarterback. You just can't turn the ball over, and a lot of times quarterback is one of your better athletes as well. So,
yeah. Especially at the smaller high school level, you get up into 7A, might be a different story, but I mean, 4A and under, the quarterback is your guy.
All righty.
All right, well, that concludes our 4A spring preview. Look forward to Saturday morning. We'll have our 3A preview on. A lot of teams to cover in 3A.
Oh yeah, that'll be a big one.
All right, man.